Oh, it's getting sticky. Even some reporters in the liberal media have had it with President Biden dodging questions from them. The president was joking about it at the White House Correspondents' Dinner over the weekend. Not everybody was laughing.
On Biden, the line that will stick with me is, in a lot of ways, this dinner sums up my first 2 years in office. I'll talk for 10 minutes, take 0 questions, and cheerfully walk away. For the journalist in the room, he wasn't laughing with you. He was laughing at you. I mean, the reality is, I think he's mocking the press. The guy does not take questions, and he's up there joking about it. I think the President of the United States ought to have to talk to these reporters and not mock them.
Well, the White House may have a new reason to avoid questions, or an excuse, you might call it. A headline today reads, "The Hatch Act is drawing renewed attention." The Biden White House may be the first to face accusations of using it too much. We decided to put together a little montage for you of how many times the press secretary likes to invoke the Hatch Act.
We follow the Hatch Act here in this administration. So it's 2024, the Hatch Act. I'm just not going to touch that with a 12-foot pole.
I always say this at the top, I'm going to be really careful. We follow the Hatch Act here.
I have to be very careful. We do listen to the rule of law and the Hatch Act.
That means you can't talk too much politics from the lectern. Oh, but they do, though, don't they? Former White House press secretary and Fox News contributor Ari Fleischer. Hatch Act, it sounds delicious.
You know, the thing about it is, jean-pierre sounds like she's happy about the Hatch Act and happy not to talk. The Hatch Act always made me unhappy because I wanted to sink my teeth into every issue that was important to the press or important to the country. I wanted to participate, dive in, and shape the conversation. She acts like it's a moment of relief that she has another excuse not to talk. That's not what you want in a press secretary. Now, she's doing it right. You can't talk because of the Hatch Act, but I was never happy not to talk.
Well, all of this comes amid a lot of concern about Vice President Kamala Harris on the 2024 ticket. More big-name Democrats are coming to Vice President Harris's defense. Here's Senator Chris Coons.
Well, the vice president, like many vice presidents, has struggled to get positive press coverage and to get the credit she deserves for the hard work that she's been doing. I know our president has great confidence in her, and so do I.
All right, she has a lot of jobs. Let's slow scroll it while Ari tells us how she's doing.
Yeah, if Senator Coons and Joe Biden have confidence in her, that's about 2 of the only people in the country who do. But I'll make a prediction to you. This worm will turn because it must. The press is going to start writing stories about how she is being undervalued, how she's doing a fine job. They're going to start to rally because it's a Democratic ticket. And that's how the press will cover Joe Biden. Kamala Harris will become the beneficiary of that, even though everybody in the country who watches with a neutrality or objective point of view recognizes that she is in way over her head.
Yeah, and that's why, and forgive me for interjecting as that was scrolling by, but based on what would they make those claims? Or what you're saying, at least what I hear you saying, is they don't need to base it on fact. They'll just say it anyway.
Because we're heading into an election year, and it's rally time. And this is what's so unfortunate about the way the press covers Joe Biden, and we saw it in the question that the White House had from a reporter ahead of time. We see it how Joe Biden takes the press for granted. I thought Scott Jennings' points about he's laughing at you, not with you, is very valid. But to paraphrase something that Donald Trump said, if Joe Biden walked out of the White House onto Pennsylvania Avenue and shot someone, I think the White House press corps probably wouldn't cover it. Or if they did, they'd say, well, you know, Aaron Burr, when he was vice president, he shot somebody. So these things happen. They make excuses for Joe Biden, and then they laugh with Joe Biden when they should be the ones raising the pressure, saying, how come you hide from us? Why don't you take questions on a regular basis? And whose else's card was behind the LA Times reporter's card when the White House had that list of questions? We haven't heard that answer yet, too. And don't think it was just one reporter. They had other reporters' cards under there, I'm certain of it.
And what would that mean to you?
It would mean that the White House is getting reporters to cooperate and giving them what questions or direction they're going to ask the president. And that's unethical. No reporter ever would have gone along and done that when I was press secretary. None. Now, my job was to guess what questions the press corps writ large would ask, but I would never say to the president, this reporter will ask you that reporter will ask you this, because I did not know their specifics. I'd say, I think you're going to get the following 5 questions during your news conference, but I couldn't guess from whom, because no reporter reporter would possibly cooperate if I tried to ask that.
Well, and it's the press secretary's job and the comms team's job just to get the president ready, as you said, for topically what could be coming. And the way that reporters seem to like clickbait these days, I'm surprised they give any questions, because I think it's a game of gotcha with them. Anyway,
but
a recent
reporters shouldn't play ball with the White House, and these reporters seem to like playing ball with the White House.
Well, no one in authority. I mean, that's the whole purpose of being there to ask the questions. A recent poll shows President Biden's approval with young voters ages 18 to 29 has slid off a cliff to 36%, down 6 points from last year. And then it was even more than that if you look at 2021, 59% to 36 now. And those young voters aren't feeling too good on the inside either. We know that since the pandemic. Nearly half are saying that they're nervous, they're anxious, or on edge in life. Even more disturbing, 24% say they think they'd be better off dead. Most young voters identify as Democrats and politically moderate. I tell you, when I read this study, it breaks my heart.
Yeah, this softness in support is not ideological. Ideologically, most young people are Democrats and would be for Joe Biden. It's personal. It's because they know what it means to be 80. They know what their grandparents are like, and they recognize that Joe Biden is too old and is out of touch.
Wow.
That's his personal problem.
And I pray for all of those too, and I know you do as well, Ari, who are struggling right now mightily. They need someone who they can believe in, somebody that they have confidence in for the country. Thank you.